Okay, so we're having a little stand. Susan's grabbing people for behind the signs. Jonathan didn't tell me exactly where he wanted them. So I'm going to say 1, 2, first 2 steps, and then right in front of it. Great. Do you want to be on the first step? Go ahead, just get in anywhere, and then we're also going to do that on this side.
Dying on the hill, you know what I'm saying?
Okay. Women, where are the rest of you? Okay. Shelly, I'm going to have you over here. I think we're going to leave. I want to find your rest. Yeah. Come over here.
I'm going to guess 35.
Fill in right here, and then I'm going to look from over there and see whether I want more people in the middle or not. Jump in right here. You can stand right in front of the steps.
I like your name
tag. Yes. I'm going to move like 1 or 2 of you to this side. And then the speakers will also be filling in here before and after they're speaking. So, 1 second.
Fancy meeting you here.
I've got 1 rainbow, 1 black.
I'm going to put you. Can you stand on the other side?
I'm going to stand here.
And then okay, you stand right up there on the inside side of the railing. Cool. I'm going to have you stand right here. Okay, perfect. And then can you step right down here? Oh, beautiful. Okay, my wall of women. My boss keeps calling me the women wrangler for today, which is hilarious. And yeah, great. I gave mine up. I paid thousands of dollars to get rid of mine, so like.
And I didn't find it.
Okay, great. Okay, beautiful. Thank you for being patient in the sunshine.
Absolutely.
You're wonderful. I appreciate you all for showing up this morning. Thank you so much. You look beautiful. You look strong. You look stunning. No turfs allowed. Yeah. I can ask.
Oh my gosh. Yes. I want to like earn troublemaker extraordinaire sign from somebody. That
make it happen.
I am jealous. The problem is the newspapers are slow. They don't even have trouble. I don't think they don't even keep the name. Just keep one mentioned. The paper and doesn't.
A little bit more, and then you as well. Okay, perfect. Okay, well, now you're in the little box. Oh, okay, great. Excellent.
Good morning, everyone, and thank you for being here. Today, we have a lot of amazing women to talk about the fact that we as trans people are not dangerous. We should be here, focuses on the disaster, on the flaws that happen. But instead, we are here again attacking our most vulnerable community. We want to start with one of the most amazing voices that I've ever heard. She stood up to filibuster abortion, and she earned my heart since then. Now she runs an organization, Words Not Deeds. I want to welcome Wendy Davis.
Hello, good morning, everyone. I'm so happy to be here and to be speaking on behalf of other women in this state who feel that what's happening to our transgender community with this bathroom bill is simply wrong. We all recognize the need to be safe, and we all want that, of course, for our children, our grandchildren. But we also recognize that the things that will make them safe have nothing to do with this bathroom bill. This bathroom bill is so typical of what we see coming from the legislature when the heat is on them for their own misdeeds. Right now, in this building, they're talking about stealing an election. They're talking about doing it through a redistricting that steals the voices of people in our community. And what they want is to divert our attention elsewhere. It's a typical play for them to utilize our bodies to invoke and to capitalize and leverage prejudices and discrimination in order for us to move our attention from the horrible things that they so often are engaged in. Our Republican colleagues here in this building understand and know that this is a solution without a problem, that they are working in a way that will further harm our transgender community, and they will do it simply for their own political gain. This is exactly what's wrong in the state of Texas right now. We have districts that have been drawn to guarantee Republican wins. And what that means is that they are consistently and constantly speaking to that small percentage of Texans that occupy the Republican voting primary base. That's not who we are, though. And I can tell you as a woman that we should be doing everything we can to solve the real problems of this state. We should be standing together and saying, leave our bodies alone. Let us pee in peace. Let us travel the streets of this state without fear that we're going to be stopped because we may be seeking reproductive health care. Let us have autonomy over our bodies once again. Quite simply, leave us alone and do your job to make sure that we truly are safe, that children like my granddaughters who are 9 years old and 7 years old are safe because they have the opportunity to get a vibrant, excellent education, They are safe because they have good teachers who are paid well. They are safe because their bodies are free of government intrusion and they can realize their best futures for themselves because they can make decisions about their own bodies. Now, I know it's the case that not everyone knows someone who is trans. And I understand, too, that there can be a great deal of misunderstanding about our trans brothers and sisters. But I can tell you, as someone who's had the joy and benefit of coming to know so many people who are trans, our trans sisters deserve to be safe in the restroom, just like we deserve to be safe in the restroom. And I can assure you that I and other cis women will continue to fight for those sisters, and I invite you, work to have better understanding, better alliance, better friendship with our trans community so that you can see, as I have, these are incredible, wonderful, loving people from whom we should refrain from throwing them under the prejudicial bus as Republicans continue to do. Leave our bodies alone, do your job in this building, and let's move forward proactively and productively together. Thank you so much.
Our next speaker, she is the head of the LGBTQ Caucus, an amazing ally, an amazing activist, Representative Jessica Gonzalez.
Thank you. Good morning. Again, my name is Jessica Gonzalez. I'm the chair of the Texas House LGBTQ Caucus. And look, I love you all, but I was hoping I wasn't going to see everybody so soon and not under these circumstances. But here we are. And I'm standing here today to say what many of us are feeling in our bones. We're done putting up with this. We're done watching our trans community be attacked by politicians who wouldn't last 5 minutes, walking in their shoes. We're done being used as political scapegoats for political gain, and we're done letting one twice impeached, indicted man, Donald Trump, treat our state like his playground, pressuring lawmakers to rig redistricting maps for his own power grab while our communities suffer and will continue to suffer if they stay in power. So let's just call this what it is. It's a coordinated political assault on queer Texans, on democracy, and anyone who refuses to sit down and shut up. This bathroom ban is nothing but a cheap, cruel attempt to distract and divide us. It's not about safety. It's not about public policy. It's about hate. It's about control. And it's about fear of people living authentically and unapologetically. They want us to be afraid. They want us to hide. They want us to disappear. But we've got news for them, that we aren't going anywhere. And look, I've been followed in public bathrooms myself. I've been told that I was in the wrong dressing room because I didn't look the way that people thought a woman should look. It's happened to me in this building. So I know how quickly strangers can decide that your body doesn't belong. And if they're doing that to me, a state representative in this building, imagine what they're doing to our trans community, especially our kids. So I'm here to say, and we're here to say, enough. Because we're done begging for humanity, we're done playing defense, and we're done letting fear silence our voices. Because they don't get to erase us. They don't get to legislate us out of public life. And they don't get to gerrymander away our power. Not now and not ever. We're fighting for our trans brothers and sisters. We're fighting for queer youth. And we're fighting for a Texas that doesn't shrink to fit Republican egos, but that rises to meet people's dignity. So if they think they can redraw the lines and redraw the rules to take away things like marriage equality, which they intend to do, well, I guess let them try. But we're going to put up a fight. Because we're here to build something stronger. We're building solidarity. We're building a movement. And we're building a wall of resistance that will not break. So to every LGBTQ Texan, you do belong here. And to every ally, We need you in this fight with us. And to those in power trying to take our rights, you better believe that we're not backing down. Because this is our home, this is our fight, and we're not done. We're just getting started. Thank you.
Next speaker, another amazing champion in our Senate, Senator Molly Cook.
Thank you all so much for being here this morning. It is an honor to stand in solidarity with so many women and survivors who are speaking up with courage. My name is Molly Cook, and I'm your Texas State Senator for District 15, but I'm also a registered nurse. And in between the session and the special session, I was back at the bedside, just like I have been for over a decade, serving patients in the emergency department. I've treated women fleeing violence from their partners and patients who simply need a safe place to be seen and cared for. This bathroom bill will not make anyone safer. As a nurse, I care deeply about creating safe spaces for everyone. But when Republicans claim that they're protecting women by banning trans people from public restrooms, they're exploiting survivors and others here today. They're using our stories to justify their cruelty. And when I stepped away from the bedside and ran for this seat and came to the Texas Capitol, I came here to pass data-driven policy to protect public health and public safety. There is no evidence to support this legislation will make anyone any safer. And when I questioned the Senate author on the Senate floor of the bathroom bill in the regular session, he gave no answer at all for why we need this bill. He stumbled over his words, made mistakes, made no sense, and couldn't even define sex or gender. So when I tell you this is not based in data, it's not based in evidence, it is based in hate, and it is based in cruelty, I say that to you with credibility and after already fighting this on the Senate floor. 22 states and over 400 cities have passed laws that allow trans people to use the restroom that they feel comfortable in that matches their gender. And those places have not seen an increase in any public safety incidents. And in fact, where we have seen bathroom bans in effect, they have been struck down over and over again, even in cities like Odessa and conservative parts of our state, and states like Montana, who could arguably be even more conservative than we are. What has happened in states that pass bathroom bans is a rise in violence and harassment against trans people and against non-trans women who don't fit a narrow idea of what a woman is supposed to look like. I won't stand for it. Not as your senator, not as a woman, not as a nurse, and certainly not as an out and proud bisexual woman. I know how good it feels to know myself and love myself. I want that for every single person here, every single patient that I treat, and every single person in our state. Women won the right to vote because we stood together. We got access to capital, to education, to jobs, only because we stood together. And we will only be safer if we continue to stand together, including with our trans sisters and siblings. I reject the bathroom ban and false narrative that pits women against women, whether they are trans or not. So thank you for being here. Thank you for raising your voices and for reminding all of us that we are stronger when we stand together. And I promise as a Texas woman always to fight for freedom, safety, and privacy. So keep it up, y'all. And it is my honor to introduce Ana Gonzalez from the AFL-CIO.
Buenos dias. My name is Ana Gonzalez with the Texas AFL-CIO. I use she, her, ella pronouns, and I am proud to stand here in solidarity representing the labor movement, a movement that fights for justice, dignity, and rights for all people. Let me be clear. This special session, like all sessions, Greg Abbott hasn't just ignored the Texas needs. He hasn't just failed to improve the lives of the people that he swore to serve. Greg Abbott is letting Trump take over our state, and all the while continuing to attack our rights. Rights we have organized, marched, and fought for. Rights that belong to us. And right now, those attacks are targeting our LGBTQ plus siblings, especially our trans community. These bills aren't about safety and fairness. They are about fear and control. And let's call it what it is, hate. And let's be honest, these aren't attacks on strangers. They're attacks on our coworkers, our neighbors, our families, and our friends. Do we really want the government policing who walks into a restroom? Do we? No, we don't. That's not only invasive, it's absurd, and it's dangerous. And the truth is, this bill isn't about bathrooms. It's designed to humiliate and degrade our trans sisters. So I'm going to say this very clear. As a woman, I don't want that. As a Texan, I won't stand for that. And as a union member, I am going to fight that. Because here's the thing. Our struggles are linked. Our fights are shared. Our power comes from showing up for another. No matter where we come from, no matter where we work, where we pee, or who we love, we are in this together. In the labor movement, we say, an injury to one, it's an injury to all. And we mean it. So we'll keep fighting, we'll keep showing up, and we're not going to back down. Thank you. And now I would love to introduce my friend, Kamya Factory.
Good morning. My name is Kamya Factory, and I identify as a cisgendered queer Afro-Latina. Today I stand here with a list of current, future, and legal concerns, none of which are about who is sitting in the restroom next to me. I am concerned about ICE hunting families like game in broad daylight. I am concerned about the violation of constitutional rights like habeas corpus. I am concerned about the lack of funding and emergency infrastructure resulting in deaths and floods in the state of Texas. I am concerned about a black woman's body being a corpse at the hands of state legislature because of reproductive access being cut. Texas has never had its priorities straight. It has been the blueprint for oppressive legislation throughout time. Who is inflicting the pain? My rights are being stripped away from me, not by trans women in the bathroom stalls during brief encounters, but in violent house sessions at mahogany wood tables by white cisgendered lawmakers, heterosexual men deciding my bodily autonomy and my trans sister's bodily autonomy. That is who is inflicting the pain. When we look at history, we have to understand that it will continue to repeat itself. But what we do have control of in history repeating itself is where we stand. I stand on the right side of history. I stand hand in hand with trans women, gender non-conforming folks, and two-spirited people who have been at the front of these movements since the beginning of time. I am calling cisgendered hetero folks to stand in solidarity. Trans folks have been at the front of Stonewall riots, Stonewall movements, have been at the front of Black Lives Matter protests, have been at the front of pro-immigration. It is time for us to stand in our privilege the way that trans folks have stood for us for centuries, since the beginning of time. It is time for us to stand in solidarity. I say all that to say, drag saves lives. Transgender freedom is the future. Social construction is dangerous. And the Texas legislature has an agenda. But I am here today to say to Governor Greg Abbott and the Texas State Legislature that we will not stop. We will continue to fight. And when we look at the promised land that Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. spoke of, I will embrace trans women in a tight hug and thank them for their sacrifice, for living in their truth, for living in their beauty, and for living in their freedom. Si se puede, tu lucha es mi lucha. Thank you. Good morning. Good morning. My name is Fiona Dawson, and I'm here because I value personal safety for myself, for you, and for all Texans. I am an immigrant, originally from the United Kingdom. I moved to Texas 25 years ago and became a voting U.S. citizen in 2008. One of my first jobs in Texas was at the Houston Area Women's Center, supporting survivors of domestic and sexual violence. It was there that I learned a sobering truth. Women are nearly 3 times more likely to be assaulted by someone they know than by a stranger. And I had to confront that reality in my own life. I was living in an abusive marriage, and the perpetrator was my husband, a Texan man. 3 years later, I found the determination to divorce, and my work led me to LGBTQIA+ advocacy. I am not transgender, but I strive to be the kindest and most courageous ally that I can be, especially now in 2025, when our transgender family, friends, and neighbors are under constant attack. As a filmmaker, an entrepreneur, and a leader at the Austin LGBT Chamber of Commerce, I know the power of people's personal stories. Many transgender women, men, and non-binary people are not just my friends, but they're family that I choose. They are people I travel with on trains, planes, and automobiles. And when we need a restroom stop, I go into that public bathroom with my trans women family to ensure that they are safe. We typically stand together in line waiting for an individual stall to open up. When we're done, we wash our hands and maybe adjust our hair and reapply our lipstick. And frankly, the real bathroom bill we need is one that protects us all from those folks who don't wash their hands. But I digress. One time, I was on a road trip with my dear friend Layla, who is a decorated Army combat veteran, and she happens to be transgender. During the drive, we stopped to use the loo, as we say in the UK. We were in a rural, small southern town, and I was a little afraid of how people would treat her when we simply wanted to have a quick pee and get back on the road. Ironically, the men's bathroom had a notice saying it was out of order and everyone should use the women's stalls. It was an obvious solution for all travelers needing to relieve themselves with this most basic universal bodily function, to pee and sometimes poop, but always in peace. And when you think about it a little further, it's kind of absurd that we're legislating where people use the toilet based on their genitals, because 1 in 100 people are born intersex, meaning they have any combination of male and female sex tissue, chromosomes, and/or hormones. Our biological sex, just like our gender, is on a spectrum, and that is a scientific fact. Like my fellow survivors of domestic and sexual violence, we all want all Texans, hell, all people, to be safe. You will hear time and time again that there are 0 instances of transgender people attacking anyone in a public restroom. And there are already laws in place making it illegal to enter a restroom or locker room with the intent to harm someone. Meanwhile, violence against women happens at 3 times the rate in their own home. Let's focus on what matters the most to our businesses, to our communities, and to our families. I can tell you firsthand that welcoming transgender people to feel secure with any of us in any public setting, and especially a public toilet, makes our state of Texas strong. Thank you.
Hello, hola everybody. My name is Melodia Gutierrez. I use she, her, ella pronouns, and I'm here today as a proud daughter, a survivor, a faith-rooted advocate, and the HRC Texas State Director. And as someone who believes deeply in the power of people standing together across race, gender, identity to create a world that's safe for all of us. And I want to begin with a value this morning, a value we all share, dignity. We all deserve the dignity of safety, of privacy, and of simply being able to live our lives free from fear and harassment, whether it's in our homes, at our jobs, or in something as functionally banal as using the restroom. We all just want to be treated with respect. I learned early on what it feels like when that dignity is denied. When I was a child, my family moved to a neighborhood where we were the only people of color on the block. The neighbor across the street took it upon herself to remind us of that every chance she got from the day we were moving our furniture in. She yelled slurs at us. She told us, "You don't belong." She especially targeted me, mocking me for my tomboyish appearance and behavior, calling me names, making it clear that my existence made her uncomfortable. She didn't understand me, and so she decided that I must be wrong. That experience taught me two things. One, that people will weaponize fear when they don't understand something. And two, that silence in the face of that hate only gives that fear undeserved power. That's why I'm speaking out today, because I see the same kind of fear and ignorance being aimed at our transgender neighbors, cloaked in the language of safety and protection. Let me be very clear. I would not feel safe in a men's restroom, and neither would my transgender sisters like Laverne Cox or Hunter Schaefer. That's not safety, that's cruelty disguised as policy. It is essentially humiliation codified into law. But we know better. We know that safety is not achieved by excluding or criminalizing transgender Texans, but it can be achieved through solidarity. As one of my heroes, Dolores Huerta, taught us, we can't let fear hold us back. The struggle is about all of us, together. No podemos permitir que el miedo nos detenga. La lucha es de todos, juntos, juntas, juntes. Dolores believed, as I do, that our liberation is tied up together. And when transgender women are under attack, we all are under attack. Bathroom bans don't make women safer. What they do is open the door to government overreach, invasive policing of gender, and the targeting of anyone who doesn't fit someone else's idea of womanhood. That includes transgender women. That includes the wonderful spectrum of all of us who identify as women. That includes women like me, who may not always subscribe to gender norms, and who got called names for it. Let me ask you, is this the world we want for our daughters? A world where they are told they must conform to someone else's standards to be safe? The data is clear. Over 20 states and 400 cities have inclusive bathroom protections, and none have seen an incident or an increase in public safety incidents. But the states who have enacted bans, violence against trans women and even cis women who don't look right goes up. Google Utah. If you care about safety, if you care about women, if you care about freedom, then you must oppose all efforts at discriminating against your neighbors, especially in a time where Texas lawmakers must prioritize the efficacy of our disaster response systems and other measures that will immensely benefit our great state. To those who are still learning but who are unsure, I understand. It takes time to understand things that are unfamiliar, but you don't have to fully understand someone to believe that they deserve respect. You don't have to know a trans woman personally to know she shouldn't be harassed when she uses the restroom. We're not here because we're different. We're here because we share something fundamental, a desire to live free, with dignity, with safety, with our families and loved ones. So let me close by saying this, not just as a woman of faith or a survivor or someone who knows what it feels like to not belong. Just stop. legislators, stop, ya basta. Stop unnecessarily discriminating against transgender Texans, especially in the name of women's safety. Not in my name, nor in the name of my faith, should cruelty have any space to thrive, and collectively, we have the power to prevent this from going further as long as we stand together. We are stronger when we stand together. We are safer when we build a world that includes all women, and we are proud to stand today in solidarity with our transgender sisters to say, we belong. In the name of our ancestors who guide us here today, in the struggle for equality, and in the name of Dolores Huerta, who continues to lead the struggle for collective liberation to this very moment, si se puede, yes we can. Thank you. And now it is my pleasure to introduce Darcy Gabayto with Planned Parenthood Texas Vote. Hello, everyone. My name is Darcy Caballero. I use she, her, and ella pronouns, and I am with Planned Parenthood Texas Votes. And I'm here today as a cis woman, and let me be absolutely clear. I am not afraid to share space with a trans person. I'm afraid of politicians who use fear and lies to divide us, distract us, and endanger our neighbors. Bills like this so-called bathroom ban aren't about safety. They're about control. They're about humiliating and criminalizing trans people, especially trans women, for simply existing. And once again, women are being used as props to justify this cruelty. This bathroom ban is not about safety. It's about power. It's political theater meant to distract us while they rig maps, ban abortion medication, and tear apart our rights. They're using women like me and women like us to push this hate, but we won't be their excuse. And let me tell you something else. Planned Parenthood is one of the largest providers of healthcare for the LGBTQ plus community in Texas. At Planned Parenthood, we see the real impact of these attacks. But our doors are open to all people, no matter their gender identity, gender expression, or anything else, because everyone deserves care, safety, and respect. And if our clinics can do that every day, then the state of Texas has no excuse. We all deserve to pee in peace and in private. Nobody wants the government or some weird vigilante deciding if someone looks woman enough to use a restroom. That's not public safety. That's state-sponsored harassment. Yes. This bill does not make anyone safer. And you know who doesn't belong in our bathrooms? The state of Texas. Right. This doesn't protect your kids. But what it does is it violates and endangers trans people, especially trans women who already face violence just for existing. But solidarity is safety. So I'm standing here today proudly to say, not in my name, not in our name. We are stronger when we protect all women, including our trans sisters. And we will not be distracted or divided by cruelty. So let's get back to the real work, funding our schools, protecting our freedoms, and building a Texas where everyone belongs. Thank you. And next I will introduce Sofia Sepulveda.
Thank you, everyone. My speech is going to be in Spanish. So, hola a todos y buenos días. Gracias por estar aquí en esta calorzón. Mi nombre es Sofía, mi pronombre es ella. Soy una mujer de experiencia trans. Mirando la devastación que causaron las tormentas las semanas pasadas, uno piensa que nuestros representantes se enfocarán en arreglar la infraestructura del Estado, pero no. Van a estafar al electorado haciendo trampa para sostener control. Y vamos a atacar a las personas trans. Nos quieren quitar el derecho de existir públicamente, negándonos el acceso a los baños. A los baños. ¿Qué creen que vamos a hacer en los baños? La verdad, hombres abusivos no necesitan dirección para abusar de nosotras. Ellos lo hacen así solos, quitándolos el acceso a lugares públicos y nos pondrá más a riesgo no solo a nosotras, a las mujeres trans, sino también a nuestras hermanas que son mujeres cisgénero. Russell Lee Brown, de Grandview, Texas. José Carcamo, del condado de Harris. Jerry Lee Martínez, de Corpus Christi. Benjamin Clearly, de New Braunfels. Zachary Gilly, de Texarkana. Paul Andrew Coleman, de Wichita Falls. Brandon Furman, de Trinity County, Texas. Todos estos hombres Abusaron de niños o mujeres. Ninguno de ellos son trans. A la edad de 6 añitos, un hombre de 21 años me asaltó y abusó sexualmente. Y siempre me eché la culpa por ser femenina. Y jugar con muñecas cuando mi madre no veía, porque si me veía me pegaba y me regañaba. Estaba sola jugando cuando él se acercó y me agredió. Cuando le dije a mi madre, ella me dijo que niñitos no eran molestados, solo niñitas. Pero yo era niña, aunque mi madre no lo quiso aceptar. He sido acosada sexualmente buscando trabajo. En el autobús, en el mall, en trabajos pasados me corrieron por no aceptar salir con mi supervisor. Y cuando les decía que era trans, el abuso era peor, porque se sentían dueños de mi cuerpo y me creían fácil. Me di cuenta que mi experiencia no era por ser trans, era solo por ser mujer. Yo tuve mi operación hace 4 años. Mi cuerpo es ahora como cualquier otro cuerpo femenino. Si me fuerzan a ir al baño de los hombres, ¿habrá seguridad para mí? Si me asaltan en el baño, me echarán la culpa, como lo hacen cuando reportamos abuso sexual o físico. Me preguntarán por qué estoy en el baño de los hombres. Me arrestarán porque no sueno, me miro como una persona trans. ¿Y qué le pasa a nuestras hermanas que no son trans pero tienen una voz masculina o un cuerpo masculino? ¿Les pedirán su identificación o que les enseñe sus partes más íntimas? Yo solo voy al baño para orinar y lavarme las manos, no para comadrear en un cuarto hediondo. Pero eso es lo que hacen. Nos quieren vigilar para tener control de nuestras vidas. Separados pero iguales, es lo que están diciendo ahorita. La misma fregadera que dijeron para asegurarle de que nosotros los mexicanos y afroamericanos no entraran a su espacio. Son racistas. Punto. La verdad, a ese estado no le interesa que tú eres mujer, niña, inmigrante, afroamericano, indígena o mexicano, porque no eres hombre derecho, blanco y con dinero, que es la única clase protegida en el estado de Texas. El estado con más personas sin aseguranza médica que cualquier otro estado, con una infraestructura que se está quebrando enfrente de nuestros ojos. De acuerdo a Wallet Hub, somos número 41 en educación. El sueldo mínimo todavía es $7.25 la hora. Pero nosotras, las personas trans, somos el problema. Unidas tendremos fortaleza. Y es lo que queremos hacer. Separarnos por color, raza y género. Para que el hombre rico, blanco, derecho continúe ganando. Estoy agotada. Pero al igual, encabronada. No me voy a rendir hasta que alcancemos todos los derechos tener los mismos derechos que todos. Esta es nuestra tierra, nuestra comunidad. Ellos no las quieren quitar. Tenemos que pelear. Y nosotros, no nos vamos a dejar. Gracias. Our next speaker is Becky Bullard.
Good morning. My name's Becky Bullard. I use she, her pronouns. I am the founder and CEO of Democrasexy, where we're making it feel good to make change for women and queer folks in Texas. I also am honored to serve as the chair of the City of Austin Commission for Women, and I am pleased to have one of my fellow commissioners here today.
Afternoon, everyone. My name is Alexandria Anderson. I am also on the Commission for Women for the City of Austin, and I am also an East Austin community leader.
Many of our other commissioners would have liked to be here today but couldn't make it. I'm also the single mother of 2 little girls. Okay, so I'm going to maybe lighten the mood here a little bit. There's a nightmare that I have periodically where I have to pee so bad it's about to become everybody's problem. But I can't find a bathroom that I can use. Either the stalls have no doors, or the toilets are overflowing, or there's no toilet paper. Apparently this is a very common stress dream. Has anybody else had a dream like this? Okay, you know what I'm talking about. The ability to pee in peace is one of our most central human needs, which is why we have stress dreams about not getting that need met. Did you know that when Sandra Day O'Connor became the first woman to serve on the U.S. Supreme Court, there was no women's bathroom anywhere near the courtroom that she could use? I can only imagine the stress, dreams, and realities that she had about being able to use the bathroom. So maybe you have also experienced stressful bathroom situations in real life. I have. They want to talk about bathroom use. Let's talk about it. It has been stressful being on a road trip and not being able to make it to the nice Buc-ee's bathroom and having to use a shady gas station bathroom. Who's been there? Okay, also feeling the stone cold mortification of when I had a toddler who I could not stop from crawling under the stall to go have a chat with a stranger. Let's be real, if this legislature wanted to ensure our privacy in bathrooms, they would ban toddlers from them, not trans people. And then there are the stressful bathroom situations that stick with me on a deeper level. When I had to use water from my neighbor's pool to flush the toilet, when we had almost catastrophic grid failure during Winter Storm Uri, when I had to run from the bathroom at my child's elementary school to a classroom because they were doing a school-wide active shooter drill. If our governor and our lieutenant governor really cared about us, they would prioritize keeping guns out of the hands who want to harm us. They would fix our electric grid with clean energy and actually do something about climate change. And they would make good on Greg Abbott's promise to eliminate rape. Of all the stressful bathroom situations I've encountered, none has involved trans women. But this legislation would be creating a real-life nightmare for our trans siblings. I wish our legislators would focus on the real life or death problems that we have in front of us instead of inventing problems that don't exist. We all deserve to pee in peace, whether we're Supreme Court justice or trans. Jury's still out on toddlers. Thank you so much for being here today and for standing with all women.
Hello, can you hear me? Cool. Hi everyone, hello, can you hear me now? Okay. Hi everyone, my name is Satie Hernandez. I use she, her pronouns, and I was born and raised in the beautiful, iconic area of the Rio Grande Valley in Brownsville, Texas. As a lifelong Texan and a 10-year Austinite, I have to say that the trans community in Texas is nothing but beautiful, glorious, and just a really wealth of knowledge and experience that not everybody can say that they understand. And with that comes a lot of violence and hatred and ignorance and jealousy. In March 2017, I came up with a group of folks from the Valley to testify against the bathroom bill. And it's almost 10 years later, and we're still talking about the same thing. We're still talking about this manufactured violence, and the trans community is still as strong and resilient as ever. But they shouldn't have to be. They should be able to live their lives in peace and with dignity. These attacks on the trans community are forged by ignorance, hate, and the denial of the vast, beautiful human experience. And especially during a special session after devastating climate catastrophe, it's a cop-out and a scapegoat because our state leaders are embarrassed by their own failures and their lack of accountability. The same people writing these anti-bathroom bills, these anti-abortion bills, these anti-immigrant bills are the same people ignoring the pleas from the families of Uvalde. They're the same people ignoring the crumbling school system that we have. And they're the same ones that drive to the Capitol every day and look away at the homeless people and the housing crisis that we currently are in. Ultimately, they're ignoring real issues that are right in their face in such a pressing time. As a woman, as a cis woman in this specific context, I do not feel empowered and safeguarded by this bill, bills like it, or anything. I especially don't feel protected by the men who are fueling this and writing these bills as well, and the ignorant women behind them. As a cisgendered woman, I absolutely do not feel endangered when I share facilities with other women, trans, non-binary folks, anyone. I only feel endangered when I'm in places like the Capitol, where I have personally encountered bathroom police, women who are here creating a manufactured panic, which at the end of the day is just creepy and cruel. Nobody should go through that, no matter what your gender identity is. When I share the bathroom with a trans person, with a mask-presenting queer person, I understand they're just there to have their time. But when we talk about this in the greater context, I feel nothing but empathy and compassion, because I know that when folks use a bathroom that feels comfortable with themselves, it's because they are also trying to steer away from the danger, the real danger here, which is predominantly cis hetero men. I do feel uncomfortable and endangered by the ignorant women that I have to share bathrooms with, where in this very Capitol, I've had women come under the stall, ask questions, and talk to each other about being vigilantes and having their own vigilante justice in the bathroom, bro. To the cis women fueling this panic, I want you to know you will not find out who the real villains are until it's too late. This issue is bigoted, misogynistic, and just ignorant point blank. And these culture wars against trans folks are nothing but a facade to push a narrative that trans people are wolves in sheep's clothing. But the data and the lived experiences of us all tell us otherwise. Bathrooms are a private space that are required for basic human function. This culture war is truly about dignity for all. Trans people exist. Trans people are cool and kind of cooler than others, I'm sorry. And Texas leadership needs to get a grip. Thank you.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Felicia Martin. I use she, her pronouns, and I'm the president of the Texas Freedom Network. I'm here today not just as a president of an organization that has spent 30 years fighting for freedom, dignity, and equality in this state, but as a cisgender woman, a mother, and a proud queer Texan who believes deeply in the values of privacy, safety, and personal freedom. Let me start by saying something that we all have agreed upon, that every one of us deserves to use and have privacy in the restroom. HB 32 doesn't protect privacy, it invades it. It opens the door for public scrutiny of our bodies, our identities, and our most basic personal choices. And that's not the Texas I believe in. This kind of regulation doesn't make anyone safer. It creates more confusion, more surveillance, and more opportunities for harm, especially for our transgender neighbors who are simply trying to live their lives. It punishes people not for what they do, but for who they are. If you don't understand what it means to be trans, that's okay. You don't have to. You must have to understand that no one must be subjected to humiliation just to use the public restroom. And as history has shown us that when government starts deciding who counts as real women, it doesn't stop with trans women. It sweeps all women who don't fit into the narrow stereotype of what they've decided makes someone a woman. Athletes, tall women, black and brown women, women with short hair, women with deep voices, women whose bodies don't match someone else's expectations. And then we have to ask, who ends up doing that policing? Is it a teacher, a security guard, a store clerk, a vigilante with a cell phone, a stranger who thinks they're entitled to ask your child what's under their clothes? This bill doesn't deputize law enforcement. It deputizes all of us to be suspicious of each other. It invites strangers to interrogate and shame people for using the bathroom, and it puts the burden once again on girls and women, especially those already at the margins, to prove that they belong. I hear the concerns about safety. As a mother, I have a daughter who's watching right now. I feel them too. But I also know that real safety comes from community, not from fear-mongering and scapegoating. Trans women are women. They are our sisters, our daughters, our neighbors, and they deserve to use the bathroom without fear of harassment, interrogation, or violence. If you want to talk about safety for women in Texas, then let's talk about it. Start by funding our public schools so every girl can learn in a safe, supportive environment with fully resourced classrooms and trusted adults. Protect our reproductive freedom so women and families can make the personal medical decisions that are right for them without government interference. Raise wages and support working families because safety means economic security, being able to put food on the table and care for your children without having to work 3 jobs. Invest in real community safety, not political theater. Safety doesn't come from more policing of our identities. It comes from more connection, more care, and more compassion. Because here's the truth. You can't legislate safety for some by dehumanizing others. We're safer when we invest in all of us. Some of the strongest women I know have cried in a public restroom, prayed in one, shared a laugh or a lipstick or a hug in one. Our bathrooms are not battlegrounds. They are sanctuaries, sacred places, and we will not let the state weaponize them. Don't use me, don't use women, don't use our daughters as a justification for cruelty. We will not be pawns in political games that target people already facing violence, already at risk, already under attack. We are here to say the same men who took away our bodily autonomy know nothing about protecting women. Texas lawmakers have already invaded our wombs. Keep them out of our bathrooms. So to every trans person listening today, you belong. You are loved. You deserve safety, dignity, and peace, just like everyone else. Thank you, and we love you very much.
So much. My rock stars, my heroes, really appreciate you standing in heat for like 45 minutes. Water. That's beautiful. Can I let you know where the water is?